documentation for SeaMAC is right here. I have a little bit of trouble sometimes explaining to customers the relationship between our SeaMAC API and the Windows serial port API. The SeaMAC API is a subset of the standard Windows serial port API with vendor-specific extensions to it. So there's nothing. So all of the function names and parameters were defined by Microsoft. You call into the kernel 32 or the regular Windows DLLs to talk to our driver, but it doesn't support all the functions. So in that way, it's a sort of a subset. But on the other end, you also have to use the device I/O control send ioctls to our driver to tell it some things that the regular API wouldn't tell it about how to configure the car. There's a lot of configuration that has to be done of the port because these aren't just they don't just, unlike the asynchronous cards, they don't just support asynchronous products. They don't just support one type of serial. They support a lot of different framing types, a lot of different clocking modes that the chips provide. And so there's a need to specify all those details somehow to the API, which the Microsoft API that this is based on didn't have to worry about. So we have to use the Microsoft function device I/O control to send all those particulars to our driver. So we have two parts to help, programming guide and the reference part. Programming guide is more of an overall discussion section about and shows some examples of transmitting and receiving. It ends with a list of some of the functions that are in the Windows API that we support, and there's also some here. If it's not in this list or this list, we don't support it in our API. And then there's a section for structures. These structures here are part of Microsoft's regular API for serial ports, and we use them too. This structure, big structure here, is not in the Microsoft Windows Serial API, and so this all is specific to synchronous serial. You wouldn't have to deal with this if you're using like a 2803 or a 7205 EC, but you do with these ports here.